All right, may peace and power elevation be to all of you. This your girl Tiffany coming through live in effect right here on the StreamYard. And if you are watching from my YouTube channel, go ahead, share and subscribe to the channel, and also share this video. If you watching from Facebook, you can go ahead and share this video as well. So today, we're gonna be dealing with the legacy of Kobe Bryant. Today is his born day. So as you know, earlier this year he has passed away in a helicopter crash. So we want to give honor to Kobe uh, for his great athleticism and how much he done brought the crowd to their feet, all that good stuff. So as you can see, this is the picture of Kobe Bryant. That's Kobe Bryant in his later years. Yep, that's young Kobe right there. All right, so let's get into his biography. Who is Kobe Bryant? And what was Kobe Bryant before he became an NBA star? So we're going to look at the beginning of his life all the way on down to the very end. Okay? And then we're going to look at some highlights. All right? So, right here. All right, here's the source. So, who's Kobe Bryant? Kobe Bean Bryant was born on August 23rd, 1978. Died on January 26, 2020. He was an American professional basketball player, a shooting guard. He spent his entire career with the Los Angeles Lakers in the National Basketball Association, regarded as one of the greatest players of all time. Bryant won 5 NBA championships and was an 18-time All-Star and 15-time member of the All-NBA team, a 12-time member of the All-Defensive team, the 2008 Most Valuable Player, and a 2-time NBA Finals MVP. Bryant also led the NBA in scoring twice and ranks 4 and on the league's all-time regular season, scoring all-time postseason scoring list. Okay. Now it gets interesting. It says born in Philadelphia and partially raised in Italy, Bryant was recognized as the top high school basketball player in the U.S. while at Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania. The son of former NBA player Joe Bryant, he declared for the 1996 NBA draft after graduation and was selected by the Charlotte Hornets with the 13th overall pick. The Hornets then traded him to the Lakers as a rookie. Bryant earned a reputation as a high flyer and a fan favorite by winning the 1997 Slam Dunk Contest. And he was named All-Star by his second season. Despite a feud with teammate Shaquille O'Neal, the pair led the Lakers to 3 consecutive NBA championships from 2000 to 2002. In 2003, Bryant was accused of sexual assault, with criminal charges eventually being dropped after the accuser refused to testify. With a lawsuit later settled out of court, Bryant denied the assault charge but admitted to a sexual encounter and issued a public apology. All right. After the Lakers lost the 2004 NBA Finals, O'Neal was traded and Bryant became the cornerstone of the Lakers. He led the NBA in scoring during the 2005 and 2006 and 2006 to 2007 season. In 2006, he scored a high 81 points, the second most points scored in a single game in league history, behind Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game in 1962. Bryant led the team of 2 consecutive championships in 2009 and 2010 and was named NBA Finals MVP on both occasions. He continued to be among the top players in the league through 2012 when he suffered a torn Achilles tendon at age 34. He subsequently suffered season-ending injuries to his knee and shoulder, respectively, in the following 2 seasons. Citing physical decline, Bryant retired after the 2015 and 2016 season. Bryant is the all-time leading scorer in Lakers franchise history. He was also the first guard in NBA history to play at least 20 seasons. His 18 All-Star designation are the second most all-time, while it is the record for most consecutive appearance as a starter. Bryant's 4 All-Star MVP awards are tied with Bob Pettit for the most in NBA history. He gave himself the nickname Black Mamba in the mid 2000s. The epithet became widely adopted by the general public. At the 2008 and 2012 Summer Olympics, he won 2 gold medals as a member of the U.S. national team. In 2008, he won the Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film for his 2017 film, Dear Basketball. Bryant died at age 41, along with his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, and 7 others, due to blunt force trauma sustained from a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. All right. So, you got to remember, Kobe was drafted straight out of high school. He was drafted straight out of high school, and that was in 1996. At the age of 18 years old. Now, he was supposed to play for the Charlotte Hornets, but he ended up playing for the LA Lakers, and he played for them since he retired, until the day he retired. And he led them to a lot of championships. So Kobe was a star of his prime. He was a major star. So what I want to do is, let's look into a little bit more about his biography. So it's funny, they said that he was raised in Italy. He was born in Philadelphia and spent part of his life in Italy. Let's look more into that. All right, so it says that he was born in Philadelphia, the youngest of 3 children, and the only son of former NBA player Joe Bryant and Pamela Cox Bryant. He was also the maternal nephew of NBA player John Chubby Cox. So he come from a legacy of NBA players. His father was an NBA player, and his uncle was an NBA player. And so it says his parents named him after the famous beef of Kobe, Japan, which they saw on a restaurant menu. His middle name Bean was derived from his father's nickname Jelly Bean. Bryant's family was Catholic, and he had always practiced his faith. All right, then it goes on to say Bryant started playing basketball when he was 3, and the Lakers were his favorite team when he was growing up. Interesting. The Lakers was his favorite team, and he becomes a Laker. When Bryant was 6, his father retired from the NBA and moved his family to Rieti in Italy to continue playing professional basketball at a lower level. After 2 years, they moved to Reggio Calabria, then to Postia and Reggio Emilia. Kobe became accustomed to his new lifestyle and learned to speak fluent Italian. He was especially fond of Reggio Emilia, which he considered a loving place and where some of his best childhood memories were made. Bryant began to play basketball seriously while in Reggio Emilia. Bryant's grandfather would mail him videos of NBA games for Bryant to study. Another source of inspiration was animated European films about sports, from which he learned more about basketball. He also learned to play soccer, and his favorite soccer team was AC Milan. During summers, Bryant would come back to the United States to play in a basketball summer league. When Bryant was 13, he and his family moved back to Philadelphia, where he enrolled in 8th grade at Balia Sewin Middle School. So, Kobe Bryant learned how to speak Italian because of his years living in Italy, and he also learned how to play soccer. And so he became so fascinated. So he come from a family of those who already played in the NBA, and he was he had a desire to learn about the Italian language, and not only that, he played soccer. Now, this man was already traveling before he even before his prime. Mm. That's the interesting story. See, I didn't know a lot about this about Kobe. See, how many people knew that Kobe knew how to speak Italian? Okay, check this out. Bryant earned national recognition during a spectacular high school career at Lower Merion High School in Aldermore, located in the Philadelphia suburb of Lower Merion. He played on the varsity basketball team as a freshman. Bryant became the first freshman in decades to start for Lower Merion's varsity team, but the team finished with a 4-20 record. The following 3 years, the Ace compiled a 77-13 records, with Bryant playing all 5 positions. Wow, he played all 5 positions in high school. No wonder he was so talented and gifted like that. With Bryant playing all 5 positions during his junior year, he averaged 31.1 points, 10.4 rebounds, 5.2 assists, 3.8 blocks and steals, and was named Pennsylvania Player of the Year, while also earning a 4th Team Parade All-American nomination. Attracting attentions from college recruiters in the process, Duke, Michigan, North Carolina, and Villanova were at the top of his list. However, at the high schooler, Kevin Garnett went in the first round of the 1995 NBA draft. Bryant also began contemplating going directly to the pros. Now, back then, they used to could draft you straight out of high school because Kobe did it, LeBron did it, and Kevin Garnett did it, and I think Dwayne Wade also was drafted straight out of high school as well. So they was drafted straight out of school. But now, I think the rules have changed. You have to at least like do the first year of your college before you can enter into the NBA. I'm not sure why they changed the rule, but I know they don't do that anymore. So yeah. At Adidas ABCD camp, Bryant earned the 1995 Senior MVP award while playing alongside future NBA teammate Lamar Odom. While in high school, then 76er coach John Lucas invited Bryant to work out and scrimmage with the team, where he played one-on-one with Jerry Stackhouse. In his senior year of high school, Bryant led the Ace to their first state championship in 53 years. During the run, he averaged 30.8 points, 12 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 4 steals, and 3.8 block shots, in leading the Ace to a 31-3 record. Bryant ended his high school career as a Southeastern Pennsylvania's all-time leading scorer at 2,883 points, surpassing both Wilt Chamberlain and Lionel Simmons. All right. Give me a second, you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and go down to his professional career. Okay. So, 1996 NBA draft. Before 1996 NBA draft, Bryant had worked out in Los Angeles where his scrimmage against former Lakers player Larry Drew and Michael Cooper, according to then Laker manager Jerry West, marched over these people. The Lakers were looking to trade their starting center of Vlad Divac for a player's draft rights to free up salary cap space to make an offer to free agent center Shaquille O'Neal. Bill Branch, the Charlotte Hornets head scout at the time, said that the Hornets agreed to trade their number 13 pick to the Lakers the day before the draft. Before the trade agreement, the Hornets never considered drafting Bryant. During the draft, the Lakers told the Hornets whom to select minutes before the pick was made. Bryant was the first guard drafted directly out of high school. After the draft, the trade was put in jeopardy when DeVick threatened to retire rather than be traded from Los Angeles. However, on June 30th, DeVick relented on his threat and the trade was made final on July the 9th of 1996 when the league's offseason moratorium ended. Since Bryant was still 17 at the time, his parents had to co-sign his contract with the Lakers until he was able to sign his own when he turned 18 before the season began. Bryant signed a 3-year rookie contract totaling $3.5 million. So actually he got drafted to the Lakers at the age of 17. All right, and he signed his first contract, which was a $3.5 million deal for 3 years as a rookie. Now, y'all might think that, well, that's not really a lot of money for somebody like Kobe who had such a gifted talent, right? You probably think that, well, the number should be higher, but you got to look at how it was back then in 1996 versus 2020. So in 2020, you probably won't give a rookie $3.5 million. They probably would expect more than that. But that's what the contract was given to Kobe during that time period. All right. So let's go down here. What says adjusting to the NBA 1996-1999. Bryant debuted in the Summer Pro League in Long Beach, California, scoring 25 points in front of a standing room only crowd. Defenders struggled to get in front of him, and his performance excited West and Lakers coach Dale Harris. He scored 36 points in the finale and finished with average of 24.5 points and 5.3 rebounds in 4 games. As a rookie in 1996 to 97, Bryant mostly came off the bench behind guards Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel. At the time, he became the youngest player ever to play in an NBA game. 18 years, 72 days, and record since broken by Jermaine O'Neal and former teammate Andrew Bynum. And also became the youngest NBA starter, 18 years and 158 days. Initially, Bryant played limited minutes, but as the season continued, he began to see more playing time. All right. So now let's go ahead and look down. Three-peat. So in 1999 and 2002, Bryant's fortune would improve when Phil Jackson took over as a coach of the Lakers in 1999. After years of steady improvement, Bryant became one of the premier shooting guards in the league, earning appearance in the league's All-NBA, All-Star, and All-Defensive team. The Lakers became championship contenders behind the center guard combination of Bryant and O'Neal. Jackson utilized the triangle offense that he implemented to win 6 championships with the Chicago Bulls. This offense will help both Bryant and O'Neal rise to the elite class of the NBA. 3 championships were won consecutively in 2000, 2001, and 2002, further cementing this view. All right, and then it says, Then it says Bryant was sidelined for 6 weeks prior to the start of the 1999-2000 season due to a hand injury that he had incurred during a preseason game against the Washington Wizards. When Bryant was back and playing over 38 minutes a game, he had an increase in all statistical categories during the 1999-2000 season. This included leading a team in assists per game and steals per game. The duo of O'Neal and Bryant, backed with a strong bench, led to the Lakers winning 67 games, tied for fifth most in NBA history. This followed with O'Neal winning the MVP and Bryant being named to the All-NBA second team and the All-NBA defensive team for the first time in his career. The youngest player to receive all defensive honors. While playing second fiddle to O'Neal in the playoffs, Bryant had some clutch performances, including a 25-point, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 blocks game in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals against the Portland Trailblazers. All right. So Kobe increased his game skills up after playing with the Lakers for a few years. And so they starting to see that the more skillful he became, that's when the more money, that's when he started receiving more revenues and more attention. So, all right, let's skip down a little bit. Okay. It says, coming up short in the first game of the 2002 to 2003 season, Bryant recorded 27 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals in an 87 and 82 loss to the visiting Spurs. On November the 1st, Bryant recorded a triple-double, 33 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists in a 108 and 93 win over the LA Clippers. He also set an NBA record for three-pointers in a game on January 7th of 2003 when he made 12 against the Seattle Supersonics. So he was at his prime. All right. So let's go ahead and skip down to how this whole thing came about, this whole accusation. All right, let's go to off court. Okay, so in November of 1999, 21-year-old Bryant met 17-year-old Vanessa Lane while she was working as a background dancer on the East Side's music video G'd Up. Bryant was in the building and working on his debut album. The two began dating and became engaged 6 months later in May of 2000, while Lane was still a senior at Marina High School in Huntington Beach, California. To avoid media scrutiny, she finished high school through independent study. According to Vanessa's cousin, Layla Lane, there was no prenuptial agreement. Vanessa said Bryant loved her too much for one. All right, so they married on April 18, 2001 at the St. Edward the Confessor Catholic Church in Dana Point, California. The wedding was not attended by Bryant's parents, his two sisters, his longtime advisor, and agent Aaron Tellum, or his Laker teammates. Bryant's parents were opposed to marriage for a number of reasons. Reportedly, Bryant's parents had problems with him marrying so young, especially to a woman who was not African American. This disagreement resulted in an estrangement period over 2 years, which ended when the couple's first daughter was born. Okay, so Bryant's first child was born on January 2003. The birth resulted in a reconciliation between Bryant and his parents due to or ectopic pregnancy. Vanessa suffered a miscarriage in the spring of 2005. Their second daughter, Gianna Marie Honor, referred to as Gigi, was born on May of 2006. On December 16, 2011, Vanessa Bryant filed for a divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, and the couple requested joint custody of their daughters. On January 11, 2013, Bryant and his wife both announced via media that they had called off their divorce. In early December of 2016, Vanessa gave birth to their third daughter, and in January 2019, the Bryants announced they were expecting a fourth daughter. Their daughter was born in June of 2019. Okay. So Brian was a practicing Catholic. He said his faith and a priest helped him through difficult times, such as the period following his accusation of rape. A Catholic cantor said she was inspired by Brian's faith and the respect that he showed her. Brian and his family were regular attendees at Our Lady Queens of Angels Catholic Church in Newport Beach. Brian and his daughter Gianna received a what's it? Was it Eucharist together just hours before they died. Okay, so let's see, what is a Eucharist or Eucharist? Okay, Eucharist, also known as Holy Communion and the Lord's Supper, among other names, is a Christian rite that is considered a sacrament in most churches and as an ordinance in others. According to the New Testament, the rite was instituted by Jesus Christ during the Last Supper, giving his disciple bread and wine during a Passover meal. Jesus commanded his disciples to do this in memory of me, while referring to the bread as my body and the cup of wine as the new covenant in my blood. Okay, so through the Eucharistic celebration, Christians remember both Christ's sacrifice of himself on the cross and his commission of the apostle at the Last Supper. All right. Or is it pronounced as Eucharistic? Okay, so they received a Eucharist together just hours before they died. It says Brian was multilingual. Hold on. Kobe Bryant was multilingual. Let's see what other language he knew. He was fluent in English, Italian, and Spanish. Bryant assigned himself the nickname of Black Mamba, citing a desire for his basketball skills to mimic the eponymous snake's ability to strike with 99% accuracy at maximal speed in rapid succession. During the 2013 season, he began referring to himself as Vino to describe how his play had been aging like a fine wine. Okay. Did I say it correct? I said it correctly. Was it Eucharist? Oh, Eucharist. All right. Thank you, Melvin. Thank you so much, Eucharist. All right. So let's get down to the sexual assault case. So, all right. So this whole case is what been ringing the bell to a lot of people. So even though the case was denied, it was dropped. It was proven that his innocence was at a standstill, whatnot. People will still try to bring it up, especially those news commentators such as Gayle King. So many people were talking about this. So when it came down to Kobe's career and this whole sexual assault, it gave him a bad name. It gave him a bad reputation. Like that was never gonna go anywhere. So let's look at the sexual assault case and what took place and what happened. And how did this transpire? Okay. So sexual assault case. Kobe Bryant sexual assault case. Blah, blah, blah. In the summer of 2003, the sheriff's office of Eagle, Colorado arrested Bryant in connection with an investigation of a sexual assault complaint filed by a 19-year-old hotel employee. Bryant had checked into a lodge and spa at Cordillera in Eagle County in advance of undergoing knee surgery nearby. The accuser stated that Bryant raped her in his hotel room the night before Bryant was to have the procedure. Bryant admitted to adulterous sexual encounter with his accuser, but denied her sexual assault allegation. The accusation tarnished Bryant's reputation and the public's perception of him plummeted his endorsement contracts with McDonald's and Nutella were terminated. Sales for Bryant's replica jersey fell significantly. However, in September 2004, the assault case was dropped by prosecutors after the accuser decided to not testify at the trial. Afterward, Bryant agreed to apologize to her for the incident, including his public mea culpa. Although I truly believe this encounter between us was consensual, I recognize now that she did not and does not view this incident the same way I did. After months of reviewing discovery, listening to her attorney, and even her testimony in person, I now understand how she feels that she did not consent to this encounter. The accuser filed a separate lawsuit against Brown, which the two sides settled privately. Give me a moment, you guys. All right. Sorry about that, you guys. Uh, so where did I leave off at? So yeah, I left off where I was talking about that he has been accused of sexual assault, etc. So according to Brian, it was consensual. So for those of you that don't know what consensual is, right? That means that a person give you permission to engage in sexual activity. Okay? So obviously the girl was engaging into sexual activity with Brian. Okay? But it's quite ironic that she accused him of rape, but didn't want to testify against him in the court. So we haven't heard anything else about this woman afterwards. This woman totally disappeared out the spotlight. All right. But anyways, let's go down to his endorsement. All right. So Brian received endorsement. Now, anybody remember that Brian came out with the shoes with Adidas? Yeah, he had some shoes. He had a deal with Adidas at the time, but it didn't last very long. It says before the start of the 1996 and 97 season, Bryant signed a 6-year contract with Adidas that was worth approximately $48 million. His first signature shoe was equipped KB8. Bryant's other earlier endorsement included the deals with Coca-Cola Company to endorse their Sprite soft drink, appearing in advertisement for McDonald's promoting Spalding's new NBA infusion ball, Upper Deck, Italian chocolate company, for Ferrero Spy Ace brand Nutella, Russell Corporation, and appearing on his own series of video games by Nintendo. Okay. Then it goes on down that a notable exception was Nike Incorporated, who had signed him to a 5-year, $40 to $45 million contract just before the incident. However, they refused to use his image or market a new shoes for the year, but eventually did start promoting Bryant once his image recovered 2 years later. He has since resumed endorsement deals with the Coca-Cola Company through their subsidiary Energy Brands to promote their vitamin water brand of drinks. Bryant was also the cover athlete for NBA 2007 featuring The Life Volume 2 and appeared in commercials for the video games Guitar Hero World Tour with Tony Hawk, Michael Phelps, and Alex Rodriguez in 2008, and Call of Duty Black Ops alongside with Jimmy Kimmel in 2010. All right. Okay, so it says in 2008, a video promoting NBA's Hyper Dunk shoes, Bryant appears to jump over a speeding Aston Martin. The stunt was considered to be fake, and the Los Angeles Times said a real stunt would probably be a violation of Bryant's Laker contract. After promoting Nike's Hyper Dunk shoes, Bryant came out with the 4th edition of his signature line by Nike, the Zoom Kobe 5 in 2010. Kobe 4. In 2010, Nike launched another shoe, Nike Zoom Kobe 5. And in 2009, Bryant signed a deal with Nubio to market the Black Mamba collection, a line of sport luxury watches that range from $25,000 to $285,000. Wow, $285,000 for a watch? Mm. And on February 9th of 2009, Bryant was featured on the cover of ESPN, the magazine. However, it was not for anything basketball related. Rather, it was about Bryant being a big fan of FC Barcelona. CNN estimated Bryant's endorsement deal in 2007 to be a worth of $16 million a year. In 2010, Bryant was ranked 3rd behind the Tiger Woods and Jordan in Forbes' list of the world's highest paid athletes with $48 million. So Kobe was getting a lot of endorsement deal. besides that whole situation, it didn't slow him down. It didn't stop him from continuing to focus on basketball and continue to pick up advertisement work or commercial deals and things of that nature. All right. I'm surprised they don't talk about him and Brandy's relationship. Yeah, him and Brandy was going together at some point. Oh, actually, it does. Hold on. It said television. Bryant made his acting debut in 1996, appearing on the episode of Moesha. He had met the show star Brandy earlier in the year at a Nike All-Star basketball game, and then a couple of months later, in May of 1996, Brandy was Bryant's date to his high school senior prom. That same year, he guest starred as himself on an episode of, was it Airly Dollar Sign episode What About the Fans, and Sister Sister episode Kidnap. In 1997, he appeared on an episode of Hang Time. This was followed by a guest appearance on the Nickelodeon sketch comedy series All That. That used to be my favorite show growing up. I used to love All That. And then he appeared on MTV Ridiculousness in 2019. Beginning in 2018, Bryant wrote and produced and hosted a television series Detail, which aired for a couple of seasons on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It featured his insight into the game of basketball and in-depth analysis of games and individual players. Okay. So let's look at his philanthropy work. It said Bryant was the official ambassador of After School All Stars, an American nonprofit organization that provides comprehensive after-school programs to children in 13 U.S. cities. Bryant also started the Kobe Bryant China Fund, which partnered with the Son Chi Ling Foundation, a charity backed by the Chinese government. The Kobe Bryant China Fund raises money with China embarked for education and health programs. On November 4th of 2010, Bryant appeared alongside with Zach Braff at the Call of Duty Black Ops launch event at Santa Monica Airport, where they present a $1 million check to the Call of Duty Endowment, an Activision-funded nonprofit organization that helps veterans transition to civilians' career after their military service has ended. Okay, and it says together with his wife, Bryant founded the Kobe and Vanessa Bryant Family Foundation. Its goals are helping young people in need, encouraging the development of physical and social skills through sports, assisting the homeless. Bryant spoke of the injustice aimed at homeless people who are blamed for their situation, saying that homelessness should not be ignored or made a low priority. Bryant said he wanted more out of life than just a successful basketball career. All right. And Bryant was a founding donor of the National Museum of African American History and Culture. During his lifetime, Bryant granted over 200 requests for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So Kobe had did a lot of things. So it goes on, business ventures. Let's see what they talking about right here. Bryant established Kobe Inc. to own and grow brands in the sports industry. The initial investment was 10% stake in the Body Armor Super Joint Company for $6 million in March of 2014. The headquarters are in Newport Beach, California. The Coca-Cola Company purchased a minority stake in the company, and in August of 2018, the valuation of Bryant's stake rose to approximately $200 million. And in 2013, Bryant launched a production company called Granite Studio, which developed different media ranging from films to television shows to novels. And on August 22nd, 2016, Bryant and his business partner, Jeff Stiebel, launched Bryant Stiebel, a venture capital firm focused on different businesses, including media, data, gaming, and technology, with $100 million in funding. In 2018, Bryant and Sports Academy launched Mamba Sports Academy, a joint athletic training business venture. The academy established location in 2000 Oaks and Redondo Beach, California. So, and he had a lot on his hand. So yeah, he was finding he was accumulating more profits. That's what you do. You let that money pile up. You continue to invest and invest and grow and build your fortune up like that. So he didn't just build his fortune off of basketball. He built his fortune off of endorsement and business ventures. That was Kobe. All right. So let's go down to his death. Let's talk about his death, because that's the most devastating thing. All right. So the accident at 9:06 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on January 26th of 2020, was it Sikorsky X-76 helicopter departed from John Wayne Airport in Orange County, California, with 9 people aboard. Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, 6 family friends, and the pilot. The helicopter was registered to Fillmore Base Island Express Holding Corp, according to the California Secretary of State business data. The group was traveling to Camarillo Airport in Ventura County for a basketball game at Mamba Sport Academy in Thousand Oaks. And due to light rainfall that morning, the Los Angeles Police Department helicopters and other air traffic were grounded. The flight tracker showed that the helicopter circled about the LA Zoo due to heavy air traffic in the area. At 9:30 a.m., the pilot contacted the Burbank Airport's control tower, notified the tower of the situation, and was told he was flying too low to be tracked by radar. At that time, the helicopter experienced extreme fog and turned down towards the mountain. At 9:40 a.m., the helicopter climbed rapidly from 1,200 to 2,000 feet, flying at 161 knots. At 9:45 a.m., the helicopter crashed into the side of a mountain in Calabasas, about 30 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles, and began burning. Bryant, his daughter, and the other 7 occupants were killed. Initial reports indicated that the helicopter crashed in the hills above the Calabasas in heavy fog. Witnesses reported hearing a helicopter struggling before crashing. And that was the devastating scene. And I believe to this day, his wife is still suing the helicopter company for the whole thing. So they still doing an ongoing lawsuit behind that. So let's look down at the investigation real fast. All right. The cause of the crash is still unknown, as the helicopter was not equipped with a black box. The Federal Aviation Administration, National Transportation Safety Board, and the FBI have launched investigation into the crash. On January 28th, Bryant's identity was officially confirmed using fingerprints. The following day, the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner coroner stated that the official cause of death for him and 8 others on the helicopters was blunt force trauma. So, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, and happy born day to him. So now what we want to do is we want to look at the highlight. Okay. Well, if you want to find out more information, okay, you can go on Wiki, and here is the references. Let me pull it up. All right. The references is right here at the bottom. Oh, let me go right here. All right. Where it says notes. References. All right. It's a lot of reference source regarding to Kobe. Yep. It's a whole lot of information. Good God Almighty. All right, so that's it. So that's the reference right here. If you want to look up more information about that. Also, we got an article right here. It's called History in the Making, January 2020, Kobe Bryant by Benjamin Schultz. It's was CSUSB. Okay. So it goes into like the memorial of Kobe Bryant and his legacy, etc., and what happened, the incident that took place. So, all right. And there's the bibliography at the bottom. So it's called History in Making, Volume 13, January 2020, Kobe Bryant, Benjamin Schultz. All right, and then there's the website at the bottom right here, which is part of African American Studies Common in the U.S. History Commons. All right. Okay. So let's take a look at Kobe highlights real fast. Importantly, though, he was Hold on, let me. Importantly, though, he was 3 of 5. Let me see if I can blow this up real quick. Okay, here it is. So now this is Kobe's highlight right here.
Much more efficient in his game last night. He's chasing after Kobe Bryant, who gets the roll, and here comes Kobe. Kobe taking on Raja Bell. Dribble with the right hand, turn, fire, up and in, and one. Lead of one for LA. Kobe fires it up short. Ball's poked out. Guess who? Kobe one more time. Kobe pulls the trigger. That's too easy. But we've seen it time and time again. Very questionable call, and the NBA decided to do something about it. And in the end, it's going to help out the game as a whole. Kobe, Barnes, Millsap hustles. Couldn't pull it down. Kobe wide open. Books, because you have a guy looking for you constantly. Kobe takes it in strong. Ball hits. Roger Bell trying to run through the screen by Gasol. The follow away counted and one. And the Jazz up by 3. Kobe Bryant. Fade away. Got it. Make him work. He'll take the long shot, and he's got through the third. He'll take another shot. Gasol feeds Kobe. They double him. Raja Bell on him. Step back jumper. Tough shot. Got it. Kobe one-on-one with Raja Bell. He'll go baseline. Pull up Jay. Got it. Measure hard. No, you cannot. Kobe deep. Got it. Boy, trying to get physical, coach, with Bryant down low there. Didn't seem to matter on that.
Someone has lost the team as Bryant scores.
Here he is starting Bryant now. And Kobe Bryant now. Bryant raising up over Butler and Kobe Bryant.
Because in any other business, you don't show up for a meeting with your boss, you face severe ramifications.
Try to go inside to find him. It's knocked away, and then Bryant gets it. And it's been that type of first period for Kobe Bryant. 7-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. Doesn't really matter to Kobe Bryant. He's played less than 6 minutes in the period. Working against Boy with the pull-up. Still hot, though. Boy guarding Kobe here. 5 on the shot clock. Kobe with a great ball fake and one.
Doesn't have an angle to the basket.
Bryant left wide open, and he knocks it down. Butler shot the gap, couldn't get the steal. Bryant into the paint. What a move. Mike gets free from Butler. Del Negro calling for the double team. Too late. Bryant knocks it down. He makes him pay. Gives it to Bryant. 7 on the shot clock. Kobe over Boyd. Wow! Butter! He was very aggressive in the Wolves game. Had 10 shot attempts. Thornton had 18 last night against the Clippers. 8 for 15 from the floor.
That's what you want out of your last line of defense.
Oh, Kobe, great double fake and a pump and a hang. Compounds it by throwing it away. Kobe going to the hole all the way to score. As Gasol has rebound number 3 to go 3 assists. Kobe rising work.
But it's literally step to the side. You don't want to step backwards.
You want to go straight up when you shoot. Here's Kobe. The Lakers are giving up. Sacramento right now at 45%. Lakers in the top 3. Defense gets back pretty well. Keith Smart's team. Kobe sifting through. Reverse layup to score. But did like the Big Dipper. Here is a Kobe rising and scoring. Kobe going to go to work one-on-one. Here comes the double. Kobe now tripled. Can't score. Tips it. Keeps it alive. The masked Mamba. How hot is he? We're going to know right now.
Not very.
Kobe's got to shoot. I didn't hit the rim. Yes! Turnover the quarter, though, for Sacramento. Kobe working one-on-one. Step it back and score it.
You better get something in return that people want to come watch.
Kobe on the move, fouled, and won. Marcus point for the Grizzlies, a guy that was actually traded from the Lakers. Need his minutes and opportunity. If you look at Jeremy Lin, it's kind of that situation, too.
Right place, right time. A lot of guys flounder around the NBA.
It's Kobe. There's Kobe working against Hill. Spinning a couple times. And gets the layup to go inside.
Going into the playoffs, but his health is paramount for this team to make a run. He won't step foot in that painted area very often.
There's Gasol. Nice look inside to Bryant. Kobe working against Hill. With the left hand this time, and one.
Missing open shots, and yet here they are right in the ballgame.
Isolation for Kobe. Underneath and one.
It's about recognition. Gortat, Steve Nash, screen and roll, get the ball in. Gortat is Kobe. A bunch of huge games against.
Wasn't going to pass that one up either.
That's the teams we have in the league. Mike Brown done a terrific job. As Kobe is
pull up, and Kobe still feeling it. Kobe with the spin, tough step back and got it.
Or just take a step in.
Kobe splits the double team.
Wearing that sleeve tonight. First shot, Kobe makes a little bit
to do the same thing, but I think they will miss Fisher, but I think it was still the right move at the right time for the Lakers. But that
was fine. As you see, all of them have had their hands on the. Just the opportunity for easy baskets on the push will be different for the Lakers.
Right, really good recognition right there of the mismatch.
All right. So that's the Kobe highlights during his career of 2011 and 2012. Again, rest in peace to Kobe, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. So thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you please subscribe to this channel. If you like the channel, subscribe to it, share the video content, and hit the notification bell when I'm coming on. Also, if you are watching from my Facebook channel, you go ahead and share this video on Facebook. All right. Until then, you guys, please be safe out there. And I will reconnect with you all later. So may peace and power elevation be to you. This your girl Tiffany, and I'm checking out. Deuces.